Hello and welcome to part 3, the last video in this three-part series on studying and academic success. Now, many people have their own methods for studying and doing well in school, but here's a method that I have found to be very effective and very efficient at mastering material and doing well in school. And this method isn't only applicable to students. People looking to master information and gain knowledge for their job, for certifications, and for their own personal knowledge, this method of studying and mastering material is applicable to basically anybody. So here's the method that I use for studying in the context of academics or in college. So now that you have your summarizing condensed notes from part 2 of this three-part series, it's time to start studying them. Here are my summarized and condensed notes with symbols and stars from my physiology class. For this example today, we're going to be using the first page of my notes on the endocrine system. So step 1 is to actively and intently study all of these notes. This is what students typically do in studying. So what you're going to do is read through it, try to absorb all of the information, try to make sense of all of it in your head. And after you do that a few times, it's time for the second step. The second step is to go through all of your notes again, but highlight everything that you aren't completely sure about. Now this might be half the material, it might be less, it might be more, but just highlight everything that you're not completely sure about. Now that you've highlighted all the parts of the summarized and condensed notes that you feel that you might need a little bit more work on, you might need to study a bit more to fully understand, and all of the unhighlighted parts of the summarized and condensed notes you feel that you know fairly well, that you don't need to study them anymore. Now that you've done that, the next step is to study only the highlighted notes. Don't waste your time on notes that you feel that you already know pretty well. After studying these notes at least a few times, you are going to rewrite the highlighted portion of your notes in a new summarized, condensed way. Now that you have your rewritten and recondensed notes from the portions of the original notes that you felt that you needed more work on, now you can study these rewritten and recondensed notes without being bothered by or distracted by the information that you feel that you already knew pretty well. It's a refining process. So study these notes and you can repeat the process if you need to. Highlight portions of the rewritten and recondensed notes that you feel that you still need more work on, and I know it's only one page of original notes, but I do have more and you will have dozens of pages for some classes. So use your rewritten and recondensed notes to highlight those and maybe make a new sheet of rewritten and recondensed notes from the rewritten and recondensed notes based off of the original notes. And you can keep going with this process until your rewritten notes are manageable. It's a small amount of information. It's much easier to study from a quarter of your notes than to study from dozens of pages of notes, especially if the material is focusing on the material that you really do need to pay attention to that you don't know. Because it's hard to study through dozens of pages of notes constantly trying to skip by information that you already really know. It's a lot easier to refine it and focus on this information. I felt this method is very helpful for getting to know all of the material, mastering it, and doing well on your tests. So repeat the process as many times as you want. What I usually do is go off of my original notes, highlight them, rewrite them one time, and highlight my rewritten notes, and that's usually about all I need to do to master the notes. It just takes plenty of work, plenty of studying, but it's very efficient and very effective that I have found to getting good grades. So try this method out. Another thing to mention is the last thing that you must do right before your test, and that is to go through all of your notes, even the material that you feel you know pretty well. Go through all of your notes right before the test or the night before, and that will just solidify everything in your mind. Even the stuff that you feel you already know, you will master it yet again after having focused on the material that you didn't know quite well that you still needed to work on. Again, as you can see, this is a process of refining. What you're doing is pulling out the information from your summarized and condensed notes that you feel you need to work on more and focusing on that material rather than getting distracted by all the additional material and information that you feel you already know pretty well in your notes. Doing this in one or many steps can really isolate that information you need to work on more that can complement the information that you feel you already know pretty well to help you do well on your tests, assignments, and quizzes. Another important tip is that the further before the test you can start studying, the better. That is more time that you have to study a few times each day and truly master the material before you are tested on it. Also remember that memory consolidation happens while you are sleeping at night. So no matter how late you wait to study for a test, at least study the night before, preferably more, not just the day of, because you need to give your brain time and sleep to consolidate memories of the information that you are studying. Personally, I try to study for an average test about 2 to 3 days beforehand, going through this studying process and truly trying to master the material, and that usually does the trick for getting me A's on all of my tests. Thank you guys for watching this 3-part series on studying and academic success. I truly hope it helps some of you guys, and thank you for watching. Peace out.